Hello, good morning. It's Sunday morning and we are on our way to the swap meet, the Southern swap meet. It's about a 2-hour drive from where we live. It's me and Jeff, and that's how hardcore we are. We've borrowed Jeff's wife's car for practicality. So we're on our way to the swap meet. It's not very warm today. It's about 3 degrees C. Oh, it's gone up to 5, I've just been told. It's gone up to 5. So this is a little intro. I might make a bit of film at the swap meet, I might not, who knows. Okay, catch you later. It's a bit breezy here, so because it's such a wide open space, it's going to be a bit cold.
I think that is the cube, not it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. It goes down and round and back. Interesting cars on the left, look.
Rubbish on the right.
Boring stuff on the right. Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. Yesterday I went to the swap meet with my friend Jeff, and we were looking for 1 or 2 specific items, but generally it was just a case of looking to see what you see and then work out whether you think that might be useful or not. So I thought I'd just do a little show and tell. This is a record pipe vise, and I bought that for very little money, very cheap price, and my idea was that I might be able to use it to hold an axle bell in a vertical position for when I'm messing about with an axle, if I'm working on an axle, rebuilding an axle. So my idea was that you could have this mounted in such a position somehow on something, and then you could hold the axle bell in that vertical position and then, you know, work on the axle like that. I just thought it would be a neat way of holding an axle. I tend to use these sort of 35-36 stroke pilot type axles, which are this diameter, and that's about as far up as it comes. Having said that, there's a little bit of leeway there, and there's like an edge there that could be filed away, that sort of narrow blade type thing, so it could be made to fit something slightly larger, but that's pretty good, to be honest, and you never know, it might come in useful for other jobs. So that was my first item from the swap meet, a record pipe vise. Okay, right, let's dig something else out of the box. Okay, so I'm aware that this top only goes so far. So what have we got? In this bag there's a crab distributor and another crab distributor, this one with a cast iron case. That's aluminium case. All good for parts, you know. And these came with an adapter plate. First out the bag, in no particular order, are 2 crab distributors. I haven't got any crab distributors all the ones that I've got are in use. So I thought, well, it wouldn't be bad to have a spare. These appear to have some original type plug wires as well. I've got these on one of my cars. These came from Simon Lane, who's well known in the UK hot rodding scene, you know, going way back. And I bought these for less than the prices that are marked on them, but they, you know, they're not easy to find here in the UK, so I stumped up and bought these. But there's one, but I'll show you something else. I later found another one, so I bought that as well. And that one has an adapter for if you're using the long snout cam. So I thought that might be useful. So hopefully there's some useful parts there. Okay. Next up, something heavy. Oh, blimey. This is a big angle plate that might come in handy on the milling machine. You just never know. The guys that had it were the same guys that I bought my surface plate from last year, and he did me a very good deal on that. You'd have to pay a lot of money for one of those if you're trying to buy it on eBay, but he did me a very good price for that. So I bought that because you never know when you want to mount something vertically on the milling machine. I've got an angle plate, but it's a quarter of the size of that. It does have a name on it, Criterion, which I believe, I'm not sure, it might be Taiwanese, I'm not sure, but I think it's the same make as my rotary table. So there's that. Ooh. Yeah, so there we go. A set of brake shoes, as either cores or use as is. There's some meat on them, so hopefully they would be okay. A bag of UNF bolts. I bought these off a friend. He got some, and he was just helping another friend out by selling them for his friend. And they was kind of at trade price. You can't just go to a hardware store and buy things like this. These are all UNF, so I had a bag of those. In fact, I bought 2 bags, so I picked those up at the swap meet. What else have we got? Oh dear, yeah. I'm not sure why I bought these, but basically I just bought some tins with drills in, just odd little drills. I did pay for them, but they are all very good quality drills. They're not cheap drills, and there's lots of them. Small ones. And, you know, 2 more, well, 3 more I think, tins of those. God knows when I need them, but it might be interesting to dig through, see if there's any sizes there that are hard to find. When you got a milling machine and a lathe, you need things like this. Enough to keep me going for a lifetime. Okay. What's in here? A pilot. Oops. A pilot gearbox clamshell pair with the twin bolts. there, the other half is there, so that was a useful thing. Just little bits and pieces really. Some bits of brass, you know, for machining. An air filter. This is going to go, I picked this up for a friend for his F1 pickup, for Richard's pickup, so he can put that on his pickup. There's a 8BA Holly 94 there. Again, you walk around and you ask people and they ask a certain price, and then you ask another person and it's a quarter of the price being asked by everybody else. I thought, well, I'll pick that up because you never know when you might need some spares. So there's a Holly, a 94 that is. Yeah, I've got a little bit of a cold, so you have to forgive me. What's in the bag? Okay. These were nice, I thought. It's indicator switch, directional indicator switch. And I've got one like this on my truck. So I thought I might get this, you know, paint it black or something and maybe put it on my 32. What there also was though was a similar looking switch, which is just a momentary switch. Either way, I think it's momentary. And I thought I might try and use that for my overdrive on the 32. It just needs a momentary contact like that. I don't like the switch that's on the car at the moment. A similar styling to them. Yeah, neat. Again, not mega expensive. I just picked that up for not much money, a couple of quid, can't remember. But it is Michitoyo and it is inch. It's Imperial. And it was a little bit tight to be honest, but I've stroked it back and forth a couple of times and it feels okay now. So that's good, isn't it? Yeah, it looks in nice condition. A good quality Jacobs chuck key. I've lost one of mine, so I keep having to pick it up from the lathe or the milling machine or the drilling machine, and they all take the same one, so that'll be handy to have another one now. I will probably find the one I've lost now. A little clamp, a little hand vise, sometimes useful when you're on the drilling machine to hold a piece of metal. Old fashioned, nice. I've got another one similar. I think this one is one size down from the one I've already got. This was a nice little find. Again, it's a Machinist thing. I looked at it and it's got somebody's name on there, Hart, H-A-R-T. So I thought, oh, it might be homemade. But what I didn't realise, I turned it over and on the front, on this side, it says, on this side, sorry, it says Moore and Wright, Sheffield. So it's a nice little adjustable square. So you can use it as a square, one way or the other. Or as a sort of a depth gauge. And in the box also was a thing with a 30-degree and a 45-degree thing on it, and a tiny little ruler or scale which measures in 1/64, I think. Yeah, 64ths. You know, I'd probably never use that, but you just never know, do you, when you might want something small to stick, you know, to measure with. And again, that is Moore and Wright, made in England. It's like the English equivalent of Starrett. So that was very nice in the box, Moore and Wright. And this was thrown in with that. Okay, just a little bit of a backstory, but I've been working with Jeff on his Zephyrs, and we need a couple of parts, and I'll flash up onto the screen an image of the parts we were looking for, and we were looking specifically for this tiny little brake adapter, and you cannot find them listed anywhere. Nobody lists them. You never see them on eBay. So here's a couple of photos. Rather, here's a photo of a parts illustration, and here's a photo of one that I was able to find. We scoured the whole place and we found these 2 cylinders, and they've both got the fitting in place that we were looking for, so that saved a lot of looking. And you know, these things are well beyond the sell by date, so these were relatively cheap. So that was a good little find for Jeff. On a similar note, for the same job, he wanted a couple of cylinders of this type, which is of steel construction, because what he does, he adapts this part of the lid, this part, onto the Zephyr brake reservoir. I will have a video coming out showing this job, but we were looking for some of these and we managed to get these relatively cheap as well. They weren't expensive. So those are the caps and reservoir tops that he wanted. So that was you know, a good little find, not a lot of money, and just makes the job so much easier having the parts in hand. I think this one actually might be new old stock. Yeah, it looks brand new inside. Looks brand new. So that's good, isn't it? So there you go. Okay, right. That isn't quite it. That isn't quite it, because down here I have a pair of chunky looking tyres. They're a street tread, but they have a pretty generous pie crust sort of feature. What are they? 616 LT Lassa. These are a 616. The tyres on my truck are 650 16, and one of them has some cracks in it. If I can find an image, I'll just patch it in here. So because these are actually a smaller tyre, I mean, I'd like to use these on the back because they've got this pie crust, but it doesn't matter. These can go on the front. The ones that I've got on there already have a bit of a pie crust deal going on. So I'm going to put these on the front of my truck and get rid of the one that's got a crack and put the best of the remaining ones on the back of my truck. So that was a pair of tyres there, and they were bought at what I thought was a very reasonable price. So all in all, that's my stash from the 2023 Southern Swap Meet. There you go. So thanks to the NSRA for putting on the swap meet, and thanks to my friend Jeff for coming down with me and you know, being good company and giving me a cold as well. Thanks, Jeff. Okay, so let's have a little roundup then. Tyres, angle plate, bags of nuts and bolts, UNF, a filter for Richard, a carb for spares, some brake shoes, 3 crab distributors, count them, a clamshell, some little Machinist's squares and things, chuck key, clock, sorry not a clock, a dial gauge, some brass, some switches, and the master cylinders for the job on the Zephyr. So there you go, nice little roundup, and that will enable, those will enable some work to continue. They will bump up the safety, you know, on the truck, and these might enhance the sedan, and they will be just useful stuff. Okay, and it was good to get out and meet some people and shake a few hands and say hello to people. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed that little roundup. Let's hope that these things come in handy. And once again, I'll do what I did before and say, well, what have you found lately? What have you bought lately? What are your little treasures that you've brought home? Drop a comment down below. Let everybody know. We'll get a little bit of a chat going. Thanks very much for joining me in the garage then. Take care and look after yourselves, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.